Hi Sebastian, nice to meet you. I am Michelle and I am from France. And I have always curious about how culture can shape the way we learn language.
Nice to meet you too, Michelle. I'm Sebastian. I'm from Mexico, and I also find it fascinating how our backgrounds influence the way we study and practice new languages.
It's great. So, how is English stuff in Mexico?
In Mexico, English is taught with a mix of activities: listening exercises, reading short text, group discussions, and conversations to help us get familiar with the language. We also use songs, movies, and even role playing games in some classes. It works well to build confidence, but the truth is, reaching a fluent conversational level outside school is still a challenge, especially if you don't have native speakers around to practice with.
I understand. It used to be similar. We focus on grammar and reading, but speaking practice was limited. Recently, the schools adding more interactive activities and exchange programs.
Here in Mexico, people are naturally social and warm, so activities that involve teamwork, games, and cultural exchange are very effective. The classroom atmosphere is soft and relaxed, and teachers adapt the lessons depending on how students respond.
That's interesting. In French, the classes are usually more structured and follow a fixed plan for the year.
That's a big difference. In Mexico, we do have a curriculum, but teachers often adjust it to include more dynamic activities or cultural references. For example, sometimes we learn English by talking about Mexican traditions like Dia de los Muertos or typical dishes, which keeps students engaged.
I like that. In French, we don't usually connect language lesson to our own tradition in such a direct way. And even outside school, cultural habits matter a lot. For example, in French, lunch is usually a big deal, lasting or lasting 1 or 2 hours.
Wow, in Mexico, lunch breaks are usually shorter in big cities, but family meals on weekends can last hours, especially if there's traditional food and music. We also tend to talk a lot during meals, which creates a very social environment, something that could be great for practicing languages if we had more opportunities in English.
Exactly, habits like that can make a difference. In French, social events are common too, but we often stick to our native language, so it's easy to miss change to practice English.
Yes, it's similar here. That's why I think we need more spaces outside school where English is actually used, like conversation clubs, cultural events, or online exchanges with students from other countries.
I agree. In French, even after years of study, many people don't feel confident speaking English because they rarely use it in real situations.
And that's why the best method, in my opinion, is a balance. Grammar and vocabulary for structure, but also plenty of speaking, listening, and cultural connections.
Absolutely. A method that works in French might not work in Mexico, and adapting to the culture of the students is key.
Yes, because language and culture are deeply connected. Understanding how people live and think makes learning the language much easier.
Well said. So, if you could redesign English classes in Mexico, what would you change first?
I'd add more real conversation opportunities, invite native speakers, organize cultural exchange projects, and keep the variety of activities we already have, especially the ones that connect English to our own traditions and daily life.
That sounds perfect. In French, It also adds more cultural immersion and practical speaking activities.
Because in the end, learning a language is not just about words, it's about understanding a way of life.
Exactly. Language is culture, and culture shapes how we learn.
Well, Michelle, this was a really interesting conversation. I learned a lot about how things are in France.
Same here, Sebastian. It's always great to share perspective. Maybe one day we can meet again this time, practicing in French and Spanish too.
That will be great. See you next time, Michelle.
See you soon, Sebastian.